Hi, this is Gary Tanner with NextTalk, and today we want to do an overview of our SimpliciTTY call management software program. This is a software program which will allow call center agents and office employees to receive incoming TTY calls from the deaf and hard of hearing community at their workstations, no longer needing an analog TTY phone to be able to receive those phone calls. So for this demonstration today, I'm going to use two software programs. I'm going to start with a software program called Access. It is a software program we designed specifically for the deaf and hard of hearing community. And for today's demonstration, it is going to play the role of the deaf or hard of hearing caller. The second program I'm going to launch is the SimpliciTTY program. And the SimpliciTTY program would be the program that either a call center agent or an office employee would use to be able to receive those incoming TTY calls. So this is the login screen. They just put in their username and password. Go ahead and click login. And that's going to go ahead and bring up a dashboard that gives them their interface. So this is something they could just keep minimized in the background while they're not using it. But this is the basic information that they would need as they're using the software program. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and place a TTY call. I'm going to use this Access software program to do that. The call is going to route to the server version of the software, and the server version is going to go through a two-step validation process to confirm that this is in fact a TTY call. Now, that's kind of an important process because there are people who either accidentally or intentionally use the TTY number thinking they can backdoor the system and get to an operator faster. So the goal is to try and screen out those calls and make sure that all we're getting are TTY calls that are being forwarded on to either call center agents or office employees. So once the system validates that it is in fact, the server software validates that it is in fact a TTY call, then it'll go ahead and generate what we call a placeholder call to the call center ACD. The call center ACD would receive that on a dedicated DID number and recognize that as a placeholder call for a deaf person. It would then go ahead and find the first available agent in the skill set group assigned to deaf or hard of hearing calls, skill set group called TTY or deaf or whatever you want to call it. And then that placeholder call would be forwarded off to the first available agent in that skill set group. When they answer the phone, they hear a whisper message asking them to put in their caller ID or their agent ID. Upon doing so, that allows the server software to know where the ACD sent the call, because once we get the agent ID back, we know who then got the call. And then we send the parked text TTY call to the software that they logged into at the beginning of their shift. So that's an overview of how it works. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you a demonstration and let you see it real time. So this is the number I want to dial. I'm going to minimize this. And as you're going to notice, it's going to get an automated response, an automated greeting. It's going to ask a specific instruction. That instruction is it's going to ask me to type GA, which stands for go ahead. If I type that, then it gets back the bot-out tones as opposed to a DTMF tone, which is generated by a regular phone. So once it gets a bot-out tone, it knows it's a TTY device and not a telephone. And it's going to go ahead and ring through to my line, which for the purpose of this demonstration is going to be my cell phone. So you're going to hear my cell phone ring. I answer that. And you'll hear that whisper message that the agent hears.
You have a TTY call. Please enter your user code followed by the pound sign. You have a TTY call. Please enter your user code followed by the pound sign. You have a...
So I put that in.
Thank you.
And then it goes ahead and pops a screen that lets me know that that call has been forwarded to my software. So I click answer. And as you can see, there's an automatic message playing out to them. Hi, this is Gary Tanner, GA. And then the person responding would type their questions, whatever it may be. Can you help see, misspelled words and all. Help me with my account. GA. And you will see that shows up keystroke for keystroke on the agent side. Now we do that intentionally as opposed to a text message, which is compose and send. We wanted this to be keystroke for keystroke because it is a more natural emulation of a voice conversation. We are intelligent enough as human beings that we don't have to wait for the person to finish their sentence for us to figure out where they're going and what they're going to say. So that same thing would happen here. The agent would go ahead and respond and say, happy to help. Can you please provide me with your account number? And again, that shows up keystroke for keystroke on the caller side. So same thing there. They get an idea of what's going on. So this would go on back and forth between the caller and the agent in the call center. If the agent wanted to invite someone else to be a part of the conversation, they could. They just put in that person's ID or their number, click call, and that would change this from 2 panels to 3 panels in the screen. You can actually do up to 16 different people on a call. If they wanted to transfer to somebody else, same concept, put in their ID or their number, click call, and that would go ahead and transfer that off to somebody else. The software does have copy and paste capabilities. So if the information the caller is looking for is information that already exists in a Word document, a PDF file, or a website, they could just copy and paste that directly into the dialog panel as opposed to having to type everything out. Once the conversation is done, the agent would go ahead and click hang up. You'll notice when that happens that there is a message that pops up that asks the agent whether they want to save or discard the conversation. Now this is its native setting. This is the default setting. We can change this so that that the decision is taken out of the agent's hand and it can automatically save or automatically discard based on whatever the business wants. But in its default setting, this is what would happen. And if the agent decides to save it, or if saving is the default setting, then that information shows up in the inbox, that conversation that just took place. So all the conversations that we've had show up here in the inbox. And these inbox can be agent specific, they can be group specific, they can be product specific, they can be department specific, location specific. It's up to you as to how you want to configure these inbox. But this is where you would go back and look and see at all these different calls that have taken place. If the agents are not available, or there's a problem with the network, which would mean the software is not working, then the caller does have the ability to leave a TTY voicemail. And if that's the case, that TTY voicemail would show up here in the message boxes or in the inbox as well. This happens to be from an internal employee here at the company, so it's showing his ID. If this was an external person, it would be showing their phone number instead of their ID. And with that, you could then go ahead and place a outbound call, put in their phone number, click call, and you could call them back. Hi, this is Gary with XYZ Company. Sorry we missed your call. How can we help? Kind of a conversation. The agent does have the ability to create pre-composed text. So you'll notice in that demonstration, I asked them to provide me with their account number. There are certain things that agents get asked repeatedly, pretty much every single phone call, and they have to respond the same way on every single phone call. So that being the case, we give them the ability to go ahead and create hotkeys or create a pre-composed text using hotkeys. So this happens to be a named account number. The hotkey is Control F2, and that's the text that gets dumped into the panel when I hit Control F2, so I don't have to type that out manually. And the agent can create as many of these as they want. There's no limitation on it. These get saved at the server level, so it does not matter which machine the agent logs into on a shift on any given day. These pre-composed texts will still be there for them because they're not saved locally on the on the desktop machine. They're saved on at the server side, which is what that desktop machine is tying into. So that's the SimpliciTTY software program. Very easy to use, very well integrates though into an ACD environment when in a call center. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to go to our website, www.nexttalk.com, or to give us a call, 801-274-6001. Thanks.